I would say my superpower is actually my ability to help people see how they may be unknowingly sabotaging themselves in the way they're communicating, and then what they can do differently to get different results.
Great.
So let me back up. Most of the time, most of us are behaving with high respect for the other and high respect for ourselves. The problem is, under pressure, stress, perceived threat, crisis, or just if we're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and I mean, frankly, that's happened to me twice today already, we can go to one extreme or the other. So we're either holding too much respect for ourselves and leaving other people feeling intimidated or ticked off, damaging relationships and loyalty. Or we're showing too much respect for the other, not enough for ourselves. And then, this is really painful, is that we can trigger other people to disrespect us. So I help people see what are they doing that's getting in their way and what they can do differently to transform relationships and results. There is two parts to the discovery of my superpowers and my journey. The first part was my awareness and the aha moment that, oh my God, I'm a terrible communicator. Meaning, when someone was doing or saying something that I perceived as disrespectful to me or disrespectful to someone else, I would become aggressive. And it didn't matter if they were my boss, an officer of the law, or some big scary guy. So it's sort of amazing that I've made it this far in life, because I was picking fights with anybody that I thought deserved to be told otherwise. So at some point in my journey, it was my sister Pat who tapped me on the shoulder and said, sweetheart, nobody has this kind of bad luck. You are creating the conflict in your life. And so it was that aha moment that I realized I needed to do things differently. So this was like, I was 19 years old, 20, when I set off on my path of self-discovery. And so it was through trial and error, and a lot of error, that I realized what I was doing wrong and what I needed to do differently to get different results. In the meantime, my sister was creating this very powerful communication model that she uses, and that I then started to use in my work to help people very rapidly make those changes from, uh-oh, this is what's not working, this is what you need to do differently. So what's cool is that people are able to do what took me like 15 years to slowly transform, they're able to do in a fraction of the time. And then the second part of my journey was the part around passion. When I was, I guess maybe even earlier, like around 15 years old, I knew that whatever I wanted to do professionally, I needed to feel passionate about it. So then in my 20s, as I was studying at school and taking different summer jobs, my approach, because I didn't know what my passion was, I thought, I'll just do everything that's interesting to me. So I'll say yes to everything. So this is what I call the improv attitude when you think about improvisational theater. Improv, what makes it successful is you say yes to your partner. So I was pretty much saying yes to all of the adventures and opportunities that were in front of me. So yes to working at a dude ranch, yes to working at a summer camp, yes to traveling to the Caribbean island, yes to working at a ski camp in the winter, yes to moving to a French-speaking country, because I now live in Switzerland. So I was saying yes, yes, yes to all of these exciting opportunities in front of me. And I thought, okay, well, if I don't know what my passion is, how will I find it? And I figured by all of this saying yes that I would eventually come across it. And sure enough, I literally tripped across it. Well, maybe not literally tripped, I was reading a magazine on coaching. And that's when I went, and that was when the light bulb went off. I said, yes, this is what I want to do in life. And then with the help of my sister Pat, I was able to build a career as a trainer, as a coach, to use this model that she developed to help people to transform their own ability to communicate. the reason behind the passion of the evolution of human communication is because every time I've done a training, a workshop, a presentation, I've surveyed my audience. Not every time, many times. I ask people, who in the room is against world peace? Now, so far, no one has raised their hand. That's the good news. And what I realize is the work that I'm doing on an individual basis when I'm working on myself to move my communication to the next level of evolution, that we're all able to do that. And when we're doing that, that is our opportunity to concretely contribute to world peace. Because maybe we don't have the time to volunteer. Maybe we don't have the extra financial money that we're able or willing to invest. Yet by us working on ourselves to be able to manage our behavior under pressure so that we can stay high respectful towards the other and towards ourselves in those moments of conflict and pressure and difficulty, we are contributing to the positive, healthy relationships around us. And that can expand out into the world. So for me, that's the way I actively contribute to world peace. For an individual, there's a couple of things that will help them. And it's a lot of it is actually mindset. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What are we telling ourselves that is helping us to step into this role of shared power, equal respect? And that is the willingness to be uncomfortable. And because here's the thing, people want to feel comfortable and authentic and natural doing that thing that they've never done before. And that's just, I don't know anybody who's able to feel comfortable, natural, and authentic the first time out, or the second time out, or the third time out. So what I say to people is, if you're, let's take something really concrete. Couple of the behaviors that are uncomfortable for people are to speak louder, to keep eye contact, to smile. Those seem like simple things, and for some people they're really difficult. And then another level of difficulty is to confront inappropriate behavior, to say no to someone, to set a limit. All right, so first it's the concrete behaviors of the body language, voice, words, and then there's the putting into action into uncomfortable situations. Or like I work a lot with people, leaders who have to fire someone. And this is terrifying for a lot of people. Or they have to be bold and stand up to someone who's really aggressive or unkind. And it might be their boss. So in order to be successful to do these things, they have to first identify what are the behaviors I need to change and then be willing to practice them. So the speaking louder, if there's someone who's soft-spoken and gentle, speaking louder just projects greater sense of confidence. And so how do you eventually own that? You have to be willing to do it over and over and over again. And people ask themselves, if I practice it here, will I feel comfortable? No. So if they ask the question, do I feel comfortable, and the answer is no, they're not going to do it, most likely. So guess what? Don't ask that question. Instead, ask yourself one of these questions. What effect do I want to have? What results do I want to get? What perception do I want to give? By asking one of these questions, we're more likely going to be willing to override that discomfort in order to practice the behavior over and over and over and over and over until we eventually own it. So now I have people who are able to do these things that felt scary and uncomfortable in the past, and now they're able to do it and actually feel authentic doing it. Now, there's also the occasions when they have a really, really scary moment, like maybe they have to present to 500 people, or maybe they're wanting to go in and ask for a raise, or maybe they're having to confront someone who's really aggressive. In those moments, they may not feel the authenticity of confidence and ease and competence. except if they're still doing the behaviors mechanically and they're projecting that sense of confidence, the people who are on the receiving end, they don't know the difference. So you're still going to be successful and get the result you want, even in those really challenging moments. So I guess in summary, what I'm saying is identify the behaviors to work on and then be willing to practice them over and over and over. And what I say to people is practice 3 to 5 minutes a day in a low stress situation. And sometimes you might want to practice with complete strangers so that you're not feeling that discomfort of someone who knows you really well who might judge you and say, sweetheart, I like it better when you were the other way. They still going to love you, just they'll get used to the new you over time. A practical tip is to be willing to film yourself, to audio record yourself in short increments, just a couple of minutes, in situations where you might feel stress. And then you go back and analyze it. And it won't be easy, it won't be comfortable, it might not be pretty. So be willing to put that discomfort to the side and say, okay, if I could analyze this, if I was watching someone else, what advice would I have for them? Do they need to speak louder? Do they need to speak slower? Are they doing ums and uhs and movements with their body? And then so identify the things that need to change, and then one by one, start working on them. And then keep filming yourself every couple of weeks to monitor the progress.